So let us revise how Moore is refuting idealism through analytical method. But if I were to ask you why Moore is refuting idealism, can any of you tell me 2 reasons why Moore is refuting idealism?
So because he is a realist.
He is a realist, okay. Anybody else? Or any other reason, Shevya?
Sir, to make
So
sense
all-
of common ideas, ordinary ideas.
Correct. Moore wants to defend common sense. And idealism, there is a topic I have given in your notes, philosophers' disdain for common sense. So generally, philosophy has kept a general disdain. It is only to the contribution of Moore that for the first time, common sense has found, or common man's thinking or philosophy has found space in a philosopher's writing. And Moore also wants to rehabilitate, or Moore also wants the second point number B, through defense of through refutation of idealism, Moore also wants to defend ordinary language, because generally idealist philosophers will use technical language. So what is technical language? What is ordinary language? Today we will see. Some very good answers on challenges to India's foreign policy. I'll just upload the best copies. One more thing, if you remember, I had discussed the relevance of contemporary Western philosophy. Why we have to study contemporary Western philosophy compulsorily, and no longer we can skip it as was done by institutes in the past, or still they are doing it, but why this will be a costly affair? Yes. So one of the things that I had told you is, just give me 30 seconds of yours and let us see UPSC 2021 or 2022 paper. So that whatever I was telling you, it is exactly what is happening in the paper or not. Is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes.
What is question number 2? What is Bertrand Russell's method of logical analysis? How does it ultimately end in establishing atomic theory? Question number 3, establish the tenability of later Wittgenstein's motion of language as form of life. Both questions very easy. Question number 4, what is cyclicism? How Edward Husserl avoids problem of cyclicism in discourse of transcendental phenomenology, basically bracketing an epoch that we have to study. So in the top 5 questions which are compulsory of question 1, 3 of them are from contemporary Western. So one thing that is proved is कि compulsory में एक question डालते ही डालते हैं. In fact, now they are going for more than one question, 2 to 3 questions from contemporary Western philosophy. Now the second thing I had told you in last class was कि जो बाकी के question है उसमें भी one question or more than one question they are introducing in Western philosophy also. Okay, so see question number 2. Provide a critical account of Heidegger's being in the world and discuss problem of authenticity. Again from contemporary Western. उसके बाद बाकी के 2 क्वेश्चन जो है बी और सी जो है दे आर फ्रॉम वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी. क्वेश्चन 3 देखिए. क्वेश्चन 3 का 3A कांट पे पूछा है. 3B, what is dialectical method in philosophy of Hegel? How does it help in realizing, although Hegel is not contemporary, so but C3C, is there any difference between picture theory and logical form in Ludwig Wittgenstein? People say Wittgenstein. So that is Angrez pronunciation. So Wittgenstein's picture theory of language, how does the logical form define the relationship between language and reality? So again, in question number 2 and question number 3, one question is again from contemporary Western. Question number 4, how does Soren Kierkegaard define notion of subjectivity? Very easy question. Explain with reference to 3 stages of existence as propounded by him. So can you see that in all the questions, at least one of them is from contemporary Western? Yes. Can you skip any of these choice questions in favor of doing only Western philosophy? अब ये तो रहा 2022 का पेपर. Give me 10 more seconds and let me show you 2023 paper so that you can realize कि भाई इसको बहुत अच्छे से करना है. This is very easy, very low hanging, 50 marks or probably more that you can easily get. Question number 1, question number D. How does Kierkegaard argue against Hegel's idea of universal spirit in favor of individual as the essence of spirit? So basically, there is a theme in Western philosophy that is essence precedes existence. We will find that the existentialist philosophers say existence precedes essence. Kierkegaard में एक टॉपिक पढ़ना है हमको, existence precedes essence. बहुत फेमस टॉपिक है, उसी पे सवाल पूछ दिया थोड़ा सा लैंग्वेज डिफिकल्ट करके. तो यानी 2023 में टॉप 5 में एक क्वेश्चन. नाउ क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में ह्यूम, एरिस्टोटल और डेकार्ट पूछा है, ठीक है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 देखिए, all the 3 questions are from your contemporary Western. Logical positivism 3A contemporary Western, 3B bracketing and reduction of Husserl repeated. ये क्वेश्चन कम से कम Husserl से 10 बार आया पिछले 15 सालों में. This is the only question they asked from Husserl. What is bracketing, what is epoch, and consciousness is what it is not and is not what it is. Basically अगर existence precedes essence, and जो सात्रे ने अपना explanation दिया है इसमें. Okay. Question number 4, Strawson person to be a primitive concept, again contemporary Western. Question 4B, Russell the present king of France is bald. एक टॉपिक याद कीजिए, I was showing you in the syllabus, incomplete symbols. Russell wants to eliminate incomplete symbols. So present king of France is bald. इसमें incomplete symbol क्या है, ये रसल ने ये भी एग्जांपल एक लिया है. दूसरा एग्जांपल है author of Waverley is Scott. By these two examples he has tried to reduce incomplete symbols. What were the main reasons that Wittgenstein shifted from picture theory to meaning theory? That is early Wittgenstein to later Wittgenstein. What is happening? So entire 50 marks 4A, B, C is from your contemporary Western. तो 50 मार्क्स यहाँ पे ऊपर के तीनों पार्ट A, B, C, 50 मार्क्स यहाँ से 100 मार्क्स और एक क्वेश्चन आपका फ्रॉम सेक्शन ए कंपलसरी पार्ट. यानी 110 मार्क्स का पेपर आपका सिर्फ कंटेम्पररी वेस्टर्न से आ रहा है. और फिलोसोफर्स इतने आसान है, people actually have not put effort on this, but I wanted to show these 2 years papers to tell you that you cannot skip contemporary Western philosophy, or you cannot prepare just the easy ones like Bertrand Russell, Ludwig Wittgenstein or G. Moore, etc., and leave the hard ones like Heidegger, Sartre. In fact, I find them to be more easier. Only their terminology is different. Otherwise, their philosophy is not that complex. They are more like, they would be more famous on Instagram today. Actually, they are. Okay. So I hope all of you have understood the thing that I was showing on paper. I have actually shown on actually UPSC paper. Because this just happened to be in front of me, that I said that there will be one question from contemporary, or there will be more than one question from contemporary, and in question number 1 there will be questions from contemporary. This is what we were discussing in the orientation lecture, right? So I hope everyone understands the importance of contemporary Western philosophy, and that in very less time and energy we can get very good marks. minimum marks 50 questions will be asked, maximum you have seen it can go to 110, और 110 में से हम बहुत आराम से 70% ला सकते हैं. 60% we may get in Western philosophy, but in contemporary Western we can get 70% because there is that much difference between our content and what other people will be writing. Okay, so now any doubt in this? Anybody?
No, sir.
So G. Moore, we know he wants to refute idealism. In his refutation of idealism, he uses analytical method and metaphysical arguments. So let us revisit Moore's refutation of idealism. Whose idealism Moore is refuting? When he intends to say that idealism I am refuting, actually he wants to refute idealism of Berkeley. Berkeley has given his subjective idealism called essayist. Percipi. So Moore first of all points out a problem in idealism. Idealism वाले लोगों के साथ problem क्या है? They are actually confused. What is the confusion? Between two things. Awareness of an object. Like all of you are seeing me writing awareness of an object and the object itself. Let me tell you of a philosophical angle to it and you will appreciate it. Why idealists are so convinced with themselves. For example, when I am speaking, are you listening what I am speaking or what is being interpreted by your ear? The way the voice is going to the ear and it is showing compressions and expansions and it is going to the brain and it is interpreting. Are you listening what I am saying or the way your ear is transmitting that to the brain and the way your brain is interpreting that?
Brain's function.
Suppose if your ear stops to take these sound waves, compression, expansion and send it to the brain. Suppose you are deaf. Whatever I may say, will you be able to listen?
No, sir.
No. Now you are seeing the screen in front of you. So this screen, there is a there is a white board and then there is red color. Are you seeing this red color as existing outside or because there are rods and cones in your brain that see this image, convert a virtual image into a real image and there is a cone for transmitting the color and brain makes an image and you can see? For example, if suppose your brain does not have rods and cones, will you see color?
No, sir.
So are you actually seeing what is outside or what is inside you?
Internal view.
Yes. So that is why जो idealists हैं, they say that I am hearing inside me, I am seeing inside me. Therefore, why do I not conclude that this thing is happening inside me? Okay. Now, there is an entire 1,000 years of debate in Western philosophy on this. Indian philosophy में कोई समस्या नहीं. Indian philosophy, they know this at much greater depths that there is no outside or there is no inside. Okay. So, अब Moore कह रहे हैं because Moore is a common sense person. Moore is a realist person. So Moore is saying that actually these things are always happening simultaneously. Your awareness of the object and the object existing, they are happening simultaneously. So that is why you are never able to dissociate yourself from that thing. आपके सामने आपके घर में जो बेड रखा है आपको रोज दिखाई देता है, right? So Moore is saying that I can understand because you are actually not seeing them distinctly. That is why you are taking as if both the things are same. That means the bed that is in front of you, you every day see it, morning, evening, night. So you think that actually the bed is existing because you are seeing it. But if you go from your home to Delhi, does your bed still exist? या घर वाले उठा के फेंक देते हैं? You are kicked out from the room. ऐसा होता है क्या? So your awareness of the bed and the bed itself, are they two things? This is awareness is internal and the bed is external. This is what fundamentally Moore is raising. This is what he is saying is the problem of idealism, the confusion between awareness of an object and an object itself. And in Western philosophy, we will always write in answers what is the problem. Why will we write what is the problem? Can anybody tell me? Why in Western philosophy or contemporary Western philosophy, before somebody gives their philosophy, we will also tell what is the problem they have faced?
So because there is a chain in Western philosophy and contemporary Western philosophy.
There is a chain. Okay.
One after the other.
So the whole philosophy of a succeeder is dependent on the problem of the preceder.
The whole philosophy is dependent on succeeder and
succeeding philosophy is always dependent on the problem of the preceding philosophy.
हाँ, what is the syllabus? Syllabus में क्या mentioned है आपके?
Problem.
History and problem of philosophy. Your syllabus mentions history, that is the chronological succession which you both are talking about. But that chronological succession happens why? Because there is a problem in that philosophy. तो आपके syllabus में ही ऐसा लिखा है, history and problems of Western philosophy, history and problems of philosophy. And that then they mention the schools. So definitely we have identified ki bhai, what is the problem in front of Moore? Moore has to correct the idealists who are confused between awareness of an object and the awareness and the object itself. And he finds this problem most distinct in Berkeleyan philosophy, because Berkeley goes on to say to be or existence. To be is to exist. Existence is to be perceived. Or existence entails perception. That means to exist is to be perceived. Okay. So now when existence entails perception, this lack of distinction becomes most prominent. Moore कहते हैं रुक जाओ. Let me correct you. Moore uses two things: analytical method and metaphysical arguments. Or arguments from metaphysics. Now all of you know what is analytical method? Yes. What is analytical method?
So where we are trying to find all possible meanings.
Yes, analysis of a proposition in all its possible meanings. What all can it mean? SES percipi, what are the possible meanings of it? And whether any meaning is logical, whether any meaning is tenable or not. जैसे आप लड़ाई में कहते हो ना कि भाई किसी भी तरीके से तो तुम्हारी बात समझ आए. By any way, let me understand you. मतलब how have you done it? Explain it to me. I want to understand. So Moore is also saying the same thing. That your statement, let me analyze by whatever meaning possible, and if any of those meanings have a tenability or have any truthfulness, I will accept it. So in that process, he analyzes SES percipi, in its various meanings. So first meaning he says existence is existence और existence is perception को ये कहते हैं कि both are identical. Like saying A is B, so I can say A is A. Both are identical. So if existence becomes equal to perception, so can I write existence is existence? Entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. Is it adding any new information, any new meaning? If somebody were to tell you existence is existence, आपको कुछ समझ आएगा what that person is trying to say? Yes. Will it make sense to you? Or will it add to your knowledge? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No. So this becomes a tautological statement or a statement of mathematics which is not giving any new information. It is like saying all unmarried men are bachelors. Why you are giving me unnecessary? I know unmarried men. Why you need to call them bachelors? Or I know what are bachelors. Why do you have to tell me all unmarried men are bachelors? Bachelor means unmarried men. So this statement is a tautological statement. It is not giving any new information. If it is not giving any new information, would Berkeley like that this meaning be taken? Omni, would Berkeley argue that you take meaning of SES per CP in this sense?
No, sir.
No, because Berkeley wants that through his philosophy, he gives you new information. He propounds a doctrine, he propounds a theory which everybody can take. So this is definitely not what Berkeley intends. So this meaning cannot be accepted. Second meaning, therefore, let us move to the second meaning. SC is part of percipi. If both are not identical, existence is part of perception. So what he does is he draws a Venn diagram. Bigger circle he calls as perception, and he says existence or SC is part of perception. This circle is existence. So what is the problem in this? This empty space outside of existence. Is it perception? Basic Venn diagram of maths, logical reasoning. Outside of existence, there is still perception. अब ये बात जरा इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करके देखिए. There are some things which are perceived but do not exist. Is this a logical statement that you can see some things which don't exist? No, sir. No. It only happens in college during the क्या कहते हैं उसको जो fresher. Suddenly you start seeing some things which don't exist. In next few days message से आपको confirm हो जाएगा that that thing does not exist, right? Vituraj. So if you start seeing things which don't exist, there will be a lot of trouble in life. You will start seeing ghosts. How can there exist perception of a thing without its existence? So this will again be very absurd or illogical. Absurd or illogical to say that I can perceive something which does not exist. For all of you, for uh, women in the class, Shah Rukh Khan exists in your bedrooms, and for men, I think John Cena. But even John Cena is saying, no, you can't see me. So actually, that perception of Shah Rukh Khan does not conform to his existence. So this meaning also cannot be accepted that SE is part of percipi. So let us see the third meaning. Percipi is part of SE. That means perception is part of existence, or what the things which are perceived exists. So let us again draw this in the form of a Venn diagram. This is perception, and this is, sorry, bahar wala is existence, and this is perception. So again, outside of perception, in English we can say there are some things which exist but cannot be perceived. Now, would an empiricist, Berkeley is an empiricist philosopher, he says perception or experience is the valid source of knowledge. They are saying that counterpart of Indian school, Charvak, perception is the only praman. So they are saying they are giving perception as an instrument for you to have knowledge. Whereas on the other side, you are concluding here that there are some things which exist but cannot be perceived. So wouldn't it be counter to what Berkeley actually holds? Would an empiricist philosopher like Berkeley, who says perception is the instrument of getting knowledge, or it is the valid source of knowledge, to that philosopher you are saying that there are some things which exist but cannot be perceived? Is this conclusion not exactly opposite of what Berkeley would hold, or would go counter to Berkeleyan philosophy? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So again, this is counter to Berkeleyan view. तो बर्कले तो डेफिनेटली ये नहीं मानेंगे. तो जब जो दे रहा है वही नहीं मानेगा तो आप कौन होते हैं मानने वाले? If Berkeley will not accept, then who are you? So this meaning also cannot be accepted. Therefore, can I say that all three possible meanings of SES per CP cannot be accepted? Or by analytical method of analytical analysis of SES per CP, neither of its meanings is tenable? Yes. From 1, 2, and 3. Neither meaning of proposition is tenable. And therefore, I will conclude SES per CP remains unproved. So this is what his analytical method is. Any doubt in this? Then we will understand the metaphysical argument and then evaluation and then write this. Anybody having any doubt in understanding this? Vikram, Aditya, Amita, Dipesh,
No, sir.
Harshit,
No, sir.
Kanchan Jha, Pavni,
No, sir.
Rituraj, Shavya, Vaishvi.
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So now see the metaphysical arguments. Arguments from metaphysics. So Moore will say that if you are saying that there is no difference between consciousness of blue and the blue object, so can I say therefore that my consciousness is blue in color? If there is no difference in consciousness of blue and blue object, can I say that my consciousness is blue in color? Yes. If I just see on the screen. This is blue object. But an idealist is saying that it is consciousness of blue object. So if there is no distinction between this blue object and consciousness of blue object, can a logical person therefore say that my consciousness is blue? Yes. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
तो पहली बात तो ये होगा कि your consciousness will become colored. Secondly, and this practical problem let me raise in front of you. I am drawing a second circle. And you will tell me what Moore is going to say. Yes. By drawing these two circles, what Moore would be saying? Yes. Is my consciousness blue or is my consciousness green? Can my consciousness therefore distinguish between green and blue? Yes. If there is no difference between consciousness of blue object and blue object, so my consciousness has become blue. If that be the case, suddenly when I see a green object, my consciousness will be troubled, right? It will have an identity crisis or not. So let us call this knowledge and let us call this error. Will my consciousness be able to distinguish between knowledge and error? This is the second charge he is laying, that how will you distinguish between a blue object and a green object? And if you cannot do that, how will you distinguish between knowledge and error? And if you cannot distinguish between knowledge and error, the entire literature based on your philosophy is meaningless, because you cannot even do the basic thing of determining error from knowledge. Understood the second objection raised by Moore? Rituraj.
Yes, sir.
Sheve.
No, sir, partially.
Okay.
May you
See.
please?
See, just focus again. Now, what is the problem of idealists? They say that there is no distinction between awareness or consciousness of blue thing and the blue thing itself. If that be the case, then can I conclude that my consciousness is blue in color? If there is no distinction between you, what you are seeing in the mind, and what you are seeing, if there is no distinction, then your mind actually has become that object, right?
Yes, sir.
If that be the case, if I am then saying that my consciousness is blue, and suddenly then I am forced to see a green object, in this case, wouldn't my consciousness not be able to distinguish? Because now my consciousness will become green in color.
Yes, sir.
So which is true? Consciousness is blue or consciousness is green? Or logically extending this forward, the object in front of me is green or the object in front of me is blue?
We will not be able to distinguish.
Not able
It
to
will be-
distinguish. And if they are not able to distinguish between two colors, he extend this to say that one is knowledge, one is error. You will not be able to distinguish knowledge from error,
Yes, sir.
because for you both of them will be having equal footing in your mind or in your consciousness of it, right? Yes, understood this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Kanchan,
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yes.
पूछ लीजिएगा, पूछना आपकी जिम्मेदारी.
Okay, sir.
Now one more thing, therefore it is laid in front of it, is that as a last resort, maybe an idealist will say that ये जो object है, that object is a mental image in my mind. There is consciousness and mental image. Maybe as a last resort, you are going to say that ठीक है, external object तो मैं नहीं मान रहा हूं, लेकिन I am not even considering it to be my consciousness. I am saying that there is a mental image and my consciousness. So my consciousness is seeing my mental image. Just to deviate slightly, they are going to say that there is consciousness. It is not going to be colored because my consciousness is seeing mental images. So ठीक है, when mental image changes to blue, my consciousness sees as blue. When mental images change to green, my consciousness is seeing as green. So इस पे Moore raises a very funny question. He says, what kind of absurd statement is this? When you see a tiger, what does your consciousness tell you? Does your consciousness tell कि ये तो tiger का चित्र है? Is it a mental image of the tiger? If suddenly a tiger comes, forget about a tiger. Tiger to Moore has used. If suddenly a dog comes in front of you, howsoever may you wish, pray, etc., will the dog disappear from in front of you? Yes. So Moore says, when you see a tiger, you do not think that it is a mental image. What do? Fight or flight?
Flight.
Okay. Matlab, there are two options. Adrenaline in your body gives two options. So either you fight the tiger or you flight. Most cases it will be flight. But when your body is responding by this, is it not explicitly or inherently accepting that the tiger is distinct from you? Yes.
Yes.
Dipesh, the only person who will see the tiger as mental image is maybe a para-aseptia person.
Correct.
So this also goes on to prove that this mental image nonsense is mental image thing is nonsense. You see a tiger, you do not think in your mind that this is an image of a tiger. You respond by considering it as an external object. Your body instinctively responds. Adrenaline is an instinctive response of your body. So therefore, even this meaning that it is a mental image cannot be taken. And therefore, through these three metaphysical arguments, he again disproves that or he refutes idealism of Berkeley, or idealism of Berkeley remains unproved. So यही 6 आर्गुमेंट है जो हमको पेपर में लिख के आना इन रेफ्यूटेशन ऑफ आइडियलिज्म. एनी डाउट इन दिस? अदरवाइज वी विल मूव टू इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ बर्कले, सॉरी, evaluation of Moore, whether Moore has been successful in his objective of refuting idealism, or how much extent can we consider him to be successful. Basically question which asks critically evaluate or examine. So there we have to also write an evaluation. So yes, can we do the evaluation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at least हम ये बात तो जरूर कहेंगे that Moore's argument on the face of it does have force, है ना? Moore's argument, though commonsensical, though very simple, but they do definitely have a force. But can I say that refutation of SES per CP is refutation of idealism? Yes.
No, sir.
No. For Moore to say that I have successfully refuted SES per CP, I agree. ठीक है, आपने कर दिया, congratulations. But when you are concluding that I have refuted idealism, can I agree to that? From saying refuting SES per CP, which is one of the tenets of idealism, from there to conclude that you have refuted idealism as a school, that is a exaggeration or overextension, because we already know that there are certain schools of idealism which are different from Berkeley. We already know that there is Plato's objective idealism, there is Kant's transcendental idealism, there is Spinoza's abstract idealism. So therefore, Moore may not be correct in his estimate that by refuting SES per CP, he has refuted idealism. That is the first point. While he may have a degree of force or a degree of convincibility in refuting SES per CP, from there we can definitely not support his argument that he has refuted idealism. That is the first thing. Plus, W.T. Stace, he was an idealist. He refuted Moore through his own logic. I think there is a quote, no, or there is a proverb, a taste of his own medicine, right? So Stace gave a taste of own medicine to Moore. Let us understand how Moore is being criticized by W.T. Stace. Okay. Just give me 1 second. अब देखिए, this is where philosophy is very logical and why classes become important, because ये notes में line लिखी हुई है, but by reading the notes you will not be able to understand this. So just see one thing. Somebody has sent me, screen is not visible. Since when?
सर अभी बस जस्ट अभी दिख रहा.
आप माइक से बोल दिया कीजिए, messages I'm not able to read. So second thing is WT stays in the same journal where Moore publishes, that is Mind. Mind is very famous philosophical journal of West. In the same journal, WT stays puts a refutation of Moore. He says, by Moore आपने क्या refute किया है? What have you refuted? Moore will say that to be is to be perceived. That means I cannot say that existence entails perception. मूर बोलेंगे कि भाई मैंने ये रेफ्यूट कर दिया, existence entails perception. So therefore WT stays will say, therefore what you are saying is some entities exist without being perceived. If existence is not perception or existence does not entail perception, therefore what you are trying to say that some entities exist without being perceived. If you have refuted this argument, then I can conclude that you mean to say if existence does not entail perception or existence is not dependent on perception, so some entities exist without being perceived. Let me apply your analytical method on this. Stace applies analytical method of Moore. He says, can this be proved by perception? Can it be proved by perception? आपको ऊपर ही लिख के दिख रहा है without being perceived. So can it be proved by perception?
No.
No. Why? Because perception cannot prove what is non-perceived. Perception cannot prove what is non-perceived. Can it be proved by inference?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let us assume that it can be proved by inference. But inference itself is based on
Perception.
or some prior knowledge.
Yes.
To say, for example, that where there is smoke, there is fire.
Fire.
But you must have to see smoke, right, to make this conclusion.
Yes.
But he is saying you cannot perceive. So not even by inference, because inference is itself based on
Prior knowledge.
इंडियन फिलोसफी में इस पे थोड़ा सा ज्यादा ज्ञान है हमको. वी कॉल दिस इन न्याय फिलोसफी एज व्याप्ति नॉलेज, राइट? सो देयरफॉर by neither of these two things it can be proved, and hence realism of Moore remains unproved. Okay, even Russell supports this argument. Russell says you may have belief. Believing is one thing, but belief and existence of things outside, belief के basis पे you cannot conclude with certainty that existence of things are outside. That is against theoretical logic, at least. Russell says this is against theoretical logic. You may believe that things outside exist, but you cannot prove this by theoretical logic. आप ये ऐसे argument देके ये prove नहीं कर सकते, कम से कम theoretical logic is not going to support. And finally, if you remember, I have always told you, for Moore, your conclusion should always be sympathetic towards Moore. So what will we conclude? That despite the objections or despite the limitations, even by W.T. Stace, who has refuted Moore's realism, it has no bearing on Moore's refutation of Berkeley's idealism. Okay. Moore's arguments against Berkeley, they are sound, they are having force, and whatever may be the evaluation of Moore, we definitely cannot take away from him his successful refutation of Berkeley's idealism. That is what we will be concluding this topic with. Okay. Now take down a question. This is 2020 question asked in 2020. If anyone tells us to say blue exists is the same thing as to say that both blue and consciousness exists, he makes a mistake. And a self-contradictory mistake. This is 2020 15 marks question. Start writing. Time is 9:29. I am giving you 10 minutes, 9:39. Please mail your answers. अच्छा, इस क्वेश्चन में एक और पार्ट है ऊपर. Critically discuss the following statement by Moore. Critically discuss the following statement by Moore if anyone tells us. ये please add कर लीजिए question. Moore, in his refutation of idealism, tries to show the inconclusive character of idealism by showing the untenability of. Okay, good. According to Moore, the confusion between awareness and object awareness is because we never have awareness without the object. Therefore, philosophers have tended to confuse the distinction between blue and awareness, that is consciousness of blue. Consciousness has two elements, awareness as well as object. However, if to the idealist may argue that they are distinguishable but cannot be separated. This Moore counters. Firstly, consciousness of blue would mean consciousness is blue. Very good. Hence, consciousness would become colored. Secondly, knowledge and error will be inseparable and one cannot distinguish between consciousness of blue and consciousness of green. Here, as a last resort वाला point छोड़ दिया आपने.
Yes, sir.
Mental image of blue and consciousness exists. To this example of tiger. Hence, if blue exists and both blue and consciousness, he makes a self-contradictory mistake as he is confused between awareness of blue and blue itself. Okay. So one thing she has rightly interpreted is that the question is asking metaphysical arguments. The correct interpretation, that question is on metaphysical arguments by Moore. Okay. However, since question was critically examined, so what is missing here?
Yes, a good conclusion.
Good conclusion से पहले evaluation. We have to critically examine this, right? And इसीलिए मैंने एक conclusion ना notes में लिखवाया ना अभी आपको class में बताया है, which is specially applicable to this question also. Will Moore be able to answer that how sometimes we may have consciousness of we may have awareness of a blue object which is not actually blue? If you have jaundice, the entire world will look to you as
Yellow.
yellow. So can Moore solve the problem of illusion or wrong knowledge in experience? We had discussed this, right? A ship appears of different shape, different size, color, etc. to the perceiver.
Yes, the fallacy of realism.
Yes, the fallacy of realism cannot be addressed by Moore while he refutes idealism of Berkeley. So that you will write, then you will write W.T. Stace has in fact used Moore's own logic to criticize. We will not be discussing in detail, and therefore we will be concluding after that through Russell. Because this question was on critical analysis of the statement of Moore, we will say that belief and existence of a thing from the theoretical logic cannot be accepted and not a well-grounded theory. But एक statement हम लिख देंगे. However, Moore's refutations of Berkeleyan idealism stay on sound footing, or the claim remains as it is. That will complete the answer. However, whatever you have written as your first answer, it is very good. This was for 15 marks. So only thing, if you had added these from 4, it would have become 7, which would be the highest.
Yes, sir.
But we will
So I
upload
have
this.
a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, जैसे the last argument, metaphysical argument, Moore is giving of tiger. So sir, like objectively, we can use tiger only as an example क्योंकि यहाँ पर specifically they've given that blue exists.
No,
And
you can give that you can use this, that blue exists and both blue and consciousness exists. If there is no difference, it is as absurd as pointed by Moore in the example that when we see a tiger, like that you will write.
Okay, sir.
Generally, we tend to take the example given by the philosopher in first case scenario. उसके बाद अगर हम कुछ experiment करना चाहें तो अपना दे सकते हैं.
हाँ सर, जैसे कि what if we write here, we take blue only and we write like there's a blue picture or a blue river, something like that. That river is blue.
Correct.
So we can write that as well.
Correct, you can write, or maybe in counter, this will be a valid theory. The sky appears blue, but
yes,
in
sir.
space everything is black. The sky appears blue because blue is refracted. So Moore will not be able to account this fallacy of realism. So there you can definitely write. But अगर Moore ने कोई एक अच्छा valid example दिया तो उसको क्यों छेड़े? That is, let's write as it is.
True. Okay,
चलिए
sir.
तो इसका model answer लिख लेते हैं, and then rest of the answers I will check. This answer is good. We will upload as good copy in the group Telegram. चलिए. Critically discuss the following statement by Moore. If anyone tells us to say that blue exists, it is the same as to say that consciousness exists. He makes a mistake, a self-contradictory mistake. So,
सर
हाँ.
सर एक बार क्वेश्चन एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए, मेरे क्वेश्चन समझ में नहीं आया.
See, one thing is that somebody is saying blue exists, and then that person is saying it is same as both blue and consciousness exist. So blue and consciousness, they are distinct. They are not same as saying blue exists. When the second statement is saying blue and consciousness exists, they are actually not making a distinction between the blue object and the awareness of blue object. Okay, तो देखिए एक्चुअली में ये stanford.edu का स्टेटमेंट है. दिस स्टेटमेंट इज एज गिवन बाय मूर. एंड stanford.edu पे जब भी आप पढ़ेंगे ना, तो वो एक सिंपल सी लाइन को बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स कर देते हैं. बट ये कहना वही चाहते हैं कि बोथ ब्लू एंड कॉन्शियसनेस एग्जिस्ट. दैट मीन्स देयर इज नो डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन ब्लू एंड कॉन्शियसनेस ऑफ ब्लू, which is the view of, this view will be ascribed by Moore or idealist?
Idealists.
Idealist. So Moore will be against this view of idealists, that there is no distinction between awareness of blue and blue itself, or consciousness of blue and blue object or blue itself. Okay. So the problem of Moore is, problem of Moore नहीं, problem in front of Moore. टाइमर लगा लीजिए, 10 मिनट में लिखना है. That idealists tend to confuse between पूरा लिखेगा एग्जाम में, awareness of a thing and the thing itself. And therefore, being a realist, confuse between the distinction, tend to confuse between the distinction of awareness of a thing and the thing itself, and therefore being a realist, Moore is obliged to refute idealism. In refutation of idealism, Moore claims to refute all schools of idealism. Because this is a 15 marker, so we have the liberty to write all these things. If this were not a 15 marker, we would have not gone into that much of description. Okay. And plus, in your optional answers, try to be descriptive rather than writing in too much of points, etc. You have to be descriptive. You have to give a background. In refutation of idealism, Moore claims to refute all schools of idealism by proving the untenability of one of its tenets, esse est percipi. To say that blue exists is same as both blue and consciousness exist is making this same error. Moore refutes it through metaphysical arguments like if both are same, consciousness becomes colored or consciousness is blue. If this is so, then one cannot distinguish between consciousness of blue from consciousness of green. Therefore, knowledge and error become indistinguishable. As a last resort, if an idealist says that mental images and consciousness exists, now use the keyword from the question. Question का keyword क्या है? Self contradictory and mistake. Moore points out the self contradictory mistake. और इसको अंडरलाइन कर दीजिए ताकि एग्जामिनर को क्वेश्चन में दिखता रहे कि भाई he has a general feeling that his question is being answered, or whatever the demand of the question is, you are writing accordingly through an example. When we see a tiger, we fight or flight instinctively. Moore solidifies the self contradictions through analytical analysis of the statement to find none of its meanings can be accepted. However, Moore hasn't addressed the fallacy of realism because the argument from illusion, very famous argument from illusion, is given in Indian philosophy. That is, when we see a rope as yes, when we see a rope as
snake. Still stands. Also, W.T. Stace used Moore's own method to prove the untenability of his realism. That blue exists. And in conclusion, however, Moore's arguments do hold force in refutation of Berkeley's subjective idealism. Or here, alternatively,
you can use Russell. Better would be to use Russell when he says that belief and existence of things cannot be accepted from theoretical logic. Okay, so now do note these model answers because yahi question repeat hoga. 2021 it has been asked, 22 23 no question has been asked on Moore, 24 या 25 में आ जाएगा. तो इसी तरह से आपको टेप देना है इसमें. You don't have to do anything, just copy paste. Okay, but one good thing is that everybody rightly interpreted the question as being asked on metaphysical arguments. और आपने आंसर में you have not given a lot of space to the analytical arguments. वहां पर आंसर गलत होगा. Okay,
So that was because we just recently completed this topic. Otherwise, the wording of the question was really confusing, and I couldn't get कि मतलब कहना क्या चाहता है question.
See, अब जगह ऊपर लिखा था critically examine और नीचे लिखा था blue exist and consciousness of blue exist and consciousness of blue and consciousness exist. There is no difference in this statement. So basically उसका मतलब क्या है? Blue exists, that means external object exists. इसमें कोई difference नहीं है. As same as blue and consciousness exist. That means they are both internal to me. So one is an idealist view, one is a realist view. Both are not the same. He will refute the realist view. और अगर सिर्फ कुछ नहीं पता चल रहा है तो ब्लू एग्जिस्ट कहाँ पे पढ़ा आपने? मेटाफिजिकल आर्गुमेंट में. उसको लेके आप हाँ मेटाफिजिकल आर्गुमेंट लिख दीजिए. क्वेश्चन के चक्कर में क्यों पढ़े? आई एम टेलिंग यू द लैंग्वेज वाज कॉम्प्लेक्स बिकॉज टुडे यू कैन गो बैक एंड टाइप Moore and openplateau.stanford.edu. You will find that the language is so complex when they have actually quoted directly from Moore. तो वो डबल कोट्स में लिखी हुई बात आपको समझ ही नहीं आएगी कि कहना क्या चाहते हैं. Okay. So that is all. We'll continue on Wednesday with the second part. Moore खत्म हो जाएगा. We will be doing defense of common sense in next class on Wednesday. Any doubt? Okay.
So can
so
I
thank
ask
you.
you one doubt?
हाँ बोलिए.
I wanted to know about the sources of philosophy.
Sources
As
of
this is my
philosophy.
first lecture.
So you give me a call because sources of philosophy we had discussed in the first lecture only. So you give me a call. Okay?
Okay, sir.